He's made it into studio, and we are very happy to welcome a man that we've spoken to a couple of times on the telephone, but never had the privilege of meeting. Lucas Sithole has joined us here at Balls Visual Radio, our superstar tennis player. He shakes his head, but it's true. Ranked number 2 in the world in the quad section, and the first African in 40 years to win a Grand Slam, and we'll chat about that with him a little bit later on. First of all, though, Lucas, welcome to Balls Radio. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good to have you here, and apparently we were chatting off air. You're exhausted. You've been driving all over the place to different radio stations. Everybody wants a piece of you.
Yeah, it's been hectic these 2 months.
Yeah?
I can't wait to get over it.
Well, you've got a couple of big tournaments coming up. We'll chat about that in just a second. But first of all, when I look at you, I wonder, to come into a radio station and to do an interview and stuff like that, it must take a lot out of your day. It's something that you really have to sort of plan for. It's not just sort of jumping in a car and going somewhere to do an interview. It takes a bit of planning.
Oh yeah, it really does because I train twice a day. So if I'm not planning my day properly, I can mix things up, which I don't want to.
Yeah. Okay, so for people watching, because we're a visual radio station as well, they'll be able to see you in your wheelchair over there. I know you've told the story 100 times, but tell us again this afternoon how you landed up in that wheelchair.
Oh, I had a train accident in 1998. I was 12 years old.
Yeah.
I was helping this guy who was loading the goods in a NLK agricultural storage.
Yeah.
So then he asked me to move the railway line for the train to change. Then I did that, and then I tried to move back to him in the train, but then the train was moving slow. Then I slipped underneath the train.
You slipped underneath?
Yeah.
Man, I mean, what were you unconscious?
No.
You were awake?
Yeah, I was awake the whole time.
The pain must have been absolutely excruciating, or not?
Not really. I can't remember, but not really. I wasn't in pain that much, but yeah.
But you lost both legs and your right arm.
Yeah, same time.
So what happens? I mean, your life has changed immediately. I mean, things will never ever be the same again. What did you do after the accident?
I was too young to think properly, to set goals properly the way I normally do now. But luckily I had a supportive family, which they supported me all the way, because immediately after my accident, they took me to a special school, for a boarding school actually, where the other kids who live with disability, they were studying. So I went there. So that really helped me, to change, to live with those people who live with disability. It really changed my mindset and all the things.
And before the accident, you were apparently a keen soccer player.
Not a king, but I was a soccer player and I was a sprinter. So yeah.
That's hectic. So you had this accident, and all of a sudden the things that you loved doing, playing sport and being active, you couldn't do that anymore.
Yeah, I couldn't defend as I used to defend. So, but it wasn't that much because I was still a kid, So it was just the thing would happen. Then that page was closed, the new page was open. So I just needed to accept the new page and read through the paragraphs. So
you go off to this special school. Is it there that you find a love for tennis, or do you try and play other sports as well?
There I started to play field and tracks. I did wheelchair racing. I did javelin, shot put, discus, and I did a little bit of basketball, wheelchair basketball, and I was selected in the under 23 for 8 years for basketball, and then I came up to Pretoria to do my secondary school, also in a boarding school, Philadelphia Secondary School, which is in Soshanguve, where there I did I still did basketball, and I joined wheelchair rugby for 3 years. And then 2005, then I was introduced to wheelchair tennis. Then since from then I started to take it seriously.
So who introduced you to the sport?
It was a development officer for wheelchair tennis South Africa, Patrick Silepe. Yeah. Okay.
And so you lost your right hand in the right arm in the accident. Were you right-handed? Or
no.
You were left-handed?
No, I was right-handed.
You were right-handed.
Yeah, and then I had to change to use left hand.
Sure.
So not only do you have to learn a completely new sport, you have to learn it with using your
But
weaker hand.
The difficult thing was to brush my teeth with my left hand.
Sure.
That was very challenging.
Lucas, did you find that going to school with other disabled children basically helped you understand what you...
Don't answer that, Lucas, because Lucas actually just said so.
Yeah, I mean, to come to terms with what happened to you.
Yes, that's exactly what he said.
And is that where you got the nickname Twister?
No. I got the nickname from my father before he passed away.
Okay. What did
That's
that
I
mean?
wanted
How did you get what he just called you
I
that?
didn't have a chance to ask him.
Okay, so you were just always known as Twister.
Yeah, my friend called me Twister and my brothers. And
Okay. So you discovered tennis. Let's go back a step. How do you fund all of this stuff? Because you've got very expensive equipment that you need to pay for.
Yeah.
You've got a wheelchair. I presume you have a wheelchair that you use specifically for tennis. You've got obviously the tennis equipment, which is not cheap. But when you are confined to a wheelchair, I should imagine the costs go up a little bit.
Oh yeah, it is very expensive because it's a special made chair, for you specifically, and it has cammed wheels, which are the pushing wheels. That's when they give you speed, and they are big. I'm using 26 inches, so it's very big. And equipment. Luckily, I'm being sponsored by Prince for rackets. I have international contract with them, so they're still good. Still hoping to keep it for the next coming 10 years.
Well, just keep playing like you are, and I should imagine they'd have no problem sponsoring you. So when did you realize that tennis was something that you were really good at?
2006, when I had my first international tournament at Holland, Amsterdam. That was my first international tournament, and I played, and I lost 6-love. But I came back. I said, no ways, I can do better than this. And then I started to practice every day. Then from there, and then 2008, I won my first international tournament, which was in Poland.
Mm-hmm.
Then I represented South Africa in World Team Cup in Italy, also in 2008. So then 2008, then that's the year when I turned professional.
That's incredible because for you to have started playing tennis in 2005 and then to play your first professional tournament in 2006, and you say you turned professional when?
2008.
2008. So in the space of 3 years, you'd learned a completely new sport with in inverted commas, the wrong hand, the wrong arm, and you turned professional in 2008. I think that is absolutely incredible.
I think it's when you play new things, when you do something you love, there's nothing gonna stop you.
And I mean, it hasn't. Jeez, I'm looking at your stats here. 37 career titles. We followed you last year when you did so fantastically overseas. I think we spoke to you after you won the US Open. Have you won a few more?
I think now it's 45.
45?
Yeah, this year I've won.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because I looked on the ATP site and they hadn't updated it. So you've won 45.
Yeah, because I won. I played three tournaments at Oz early this year in Jan, and I won 2, and I was a runners-up in the 1, and I came back. I won Discovery Peak Moment of the Year. So they haven't updated it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are the crowds like over there compared to here? Because obviously you're a major draw card, but you no doubt prefer playing here in South Africa in front of your home crowd. Do you get better support here?
Oh, there it's crazy. Not. But the people there, they come to watch sport internationally. I've been to USA, New York. I've been to Sydney, Australia. People there, they come to watch disabled sport, and it's crazy because it's something which we're not used to as South Africans. Yes. When we get there, we tend to be nervous sometimes.
Yes.
To look like you go like, hey, now I'm playing against all these people in front of these people. You try to turn back. You become stiff, you become tense, and then you don't know what to do because you're not used to that atmosphere to have those. That crowd at a stadium.
Sure.
So, okay, 45 titles. Okay. And the first African, as I said when you arrived in your introduction, that the first African in 40 years to win a Grand Slam. I mean, when you won in America, tell us about those feelings. Tell us what you felt when you won there.
For me, it was just an ordinary tournament. I didn't went there to win the tournament. I went there just to improve my skills, because I set my goals with my coach. my goal is to get a gold medal at Rio in Brazil. So for me to win British Open, which was in July, then September I won the US Open. That it shows me that I'm on the right path. To achieve what my goal is. But winning US Open I didn't feel it when I won the last point. But as soon as I landed in OR Tambo, the minister and the kids and the people, and they were shouting my name there, then that's where I realized.
Did you realize, shit, I've done something?
Like, okay,
oh,
this is something.
Well, hello.
Then I started to smile, because for me it was just a tournament. I didn't think about the history and everything. I just went there to enjoy myself and to improve my skills.
Okay, so in a way, you took the pressure off yourself,
Yeah.
because you just saw it as another tournament. You spoke about the crowds now and how nervous you used to get playing in front of them. But the same thing with tournaments. If you just go there to improve and don't put all that pressure on yourself to win, then in a way, I suppose you can't really disappoint yourself.
Yeah, no, because the way you're gonna play there is not gonna play for win. You're gonna play just for fun.
Yes.
And the result will take care of themselves.
Okay.
Because when you're playing for fun, when you're playing happily with a smile, you always do everything good. Take it as a boss. If your boss is happy, you get increase. But if your boss is not, in a good mood, then you get what?
Yeah. Nothing.
Yeah.
All right. It's great to have you in studio this afternoon. If you've just tuned in, we are talking to Lucas Sithole. He is our tennis superstar. He's ranked number 2 in the world in tennis quads, and I believe in a thing called love. And I think when Lucas Sithole is on form and serving well, he also believes in a thing called love. Love games.
Yeah.
Lucas Sithole joining us this afternoon, ranked number 2 in the world in quad tennis, and also the first African to win a quad Grand Slam in 40 years, and we're honored to have him in studio with us this afternoon. So tell us a little bit about the rivalry that you have with this American guy, David Wagner, because if you look at the results of the finals, and it seems like you guys have a Federer-Nadal kind of rivalry going on where you take turns to win tournaments. Is that sort of how it goes between you guys?
Oh, yeah. Every time when we play each other, we know it's nothing. It's gonna be an easy match. We always fight out, because he's been there for 12 years now. So I'm only like 7 years. So for me to play against him, it's a good experience for me, because I as I'm playing, I'm also learning from him, because he's been in a block for quite a long time. So
yeah,
I just go there and do my best and give all out what I have.
And apart from being your rival, does he also sort of give you advice, and you guys have a friendship, or is it more competitive?
It's more competitive.
Okay. No, because you look. No. That's fair enough. No, fair enough. Because you look at guys like, I don't know if it's still as strong as it used to be, but the likes of Federer and Nadal, they were mates. And Nadal would. I remember seeing a program where he flew over to Switzerland to visit Roger Federer. They were friends, but on the court they were rivals.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether it's the same kind of thing with you two.
No, it's not like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how often do you guys meet a year? How many quad tennis tournaments are there every year?
For me, normally I play 14 tournaments a year as him. So we meet every time in the finals. I only played him once in a semis, which was here in Johannesburg, Edis Park, and I beat him there. And but most of the time we meet in the finals.
Okay, and the win-loss ratio, he's still kind of got it over you a little bit.
Yeah. He's leading by 2.
Okay.
Yeah. So soon I will get it, because he's coming to South Africa next month for 2 tournaments. So I'm sure I'm gonna make.
Yeah, you can make him back.
Yeah.
And Lucas, is this what you do full time, or do you have another job?
No, I don't have a job. My job is tennis, and I do a little bit of marketing at Boston College at Randburg. Yeah. So
do you ever do any motivational talking, because you'd be very good at that?
Only started end of last year. So now I'm hoping to get as many bookings as I can.
Okay. How do we book you?
You book me via my organization, Wheelchair Tennis South Africa, and then you contact Mrs. Karen Losh, and then everything will be booked.
Okay, well, we'll take all your details down when we let you go, and we'll put it out there. And if people want to get you as a motivational speaker and hear what you have to say, then they can give you a shot. Is there? So you say it's your only job. Well, it is your job. And is there a lot of prize money and stuff to make a living out of it?
Yeah, only if you win. There is enough for a living, but it's not a lot as Serena's gets and Nadal. But but it's enough for a living. For a guy like me who live in South Africa, we live an ordinary life. So
yeah, but you say an ordinary life, but you must have expenses that Johnny and myself don't have, for example.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, like a wheelchair.
Exactly.
Yeah, but so far we lucky because we have the sponsor. Airport Company of South Africa are the sponsoring the organization, so most of the equipment we get from them via organization, because they normally buy the chairs and pay the travels, and sometimes Sascock do come in and pay some few trips and sort of accommodation and all those things.
And traveling with your equipment, long haul flights and stuff like that, how do you do that?
Yeah, that's the only challenge I'm facing at the moment. Because when we travel, like from South Africa to USA, sometimes you get there, you have to play in 2 days, then your wheelchair is broken in the flight.
What?
Because they loaded it somehow.
Has that happened?
Yeah, it happens a lot.
There was a situation with Ernst van Dijk, whose wheelchair failed to arrive as well for the Boston Marathon a couple of years ago rather, and
It happens a lot.
So what do?
You try to fix it and try to play.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it is.
So your wheelchair arrives on the other side and it's broken.
Skew, something like that. Yeah.
Yes, and we talk. I mean, how much does a wheelchair like that cost?
My chair costs 180,000.
180,000 rand. And you got that sponsored.
Yes. I've been having it for 5 years now.
Okay.
So it's good. But it's been broken quite a few times.
I can imagine the feeling. I can't even imagine what it must be like to arrive in America after flying for a good day and a bit, and arriving there and to find that your wheelchair is broken.
You can't even speak to your coach for 2 days.
Really?
Because you're not gonna. You can't play with the wheelchair which is not comfortable. You can't play with something which you need to go left and it's going right.
No, it's as much as the racket is part of your equipment, so is your wheelchair.
Yeah. And I can in rackets it's easy. I can borrow my coach racket, but I can't borrow my teammate's wheelchair because it's not made for me. It's sitting some other directions of the chair, and mine is straight. You see, so then that's why it's not a good feeling at all. Like.
So how does it work when you're playing a match? Talk to us about the physicality and the mechanics of playing wheelchair tennis. Does it work? Does it operate the same way as normal tennis, or are there different rules?
The only different rule in wheelchair tennis and normal tennis is that in wheelchair tennis you have allowance of a second bounce. That's the only rules. We use the same court, same net, same everything. We also have the lines empire and everything. That's the only rule to have a second bounce. That's the only rule in wheelchair tennis. So everything is just the same.
And no foot faults?
We call it wheels fault.
Really?
Yeah.
Wheel fault?
Yeah, you can't save when you're inside. You need to be outside of the court, then you can save.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's okay. I didn't know that. Well, I knew that it could bounce twice. And how does it work? Because you've only got one arm. How does it work when you have to, move yourself to different parts of the court, and the same arm that you're using to hold your racket, you're also using to move yourself?
Hey, that's a skill I can't explain to people, but it's just a skill from God. I can't tell I do this, I do that. It just happens. I serve with my left hand. I carry the racket with my left hand. I push with my right hand. The only thing I don't do, I don't turn the chair with my hands. I turn it with my hips.
So you sort of swivel in your chair.
Yeah, to keep the momentum going. Because in wheelchair tennis, the most important thing is to be behind the ball, to have the full stroke and the full power. Me, I play a fast and powerful game. I don't hit slow like that. No.
But I think you must be absolutely exhausted by the end of a game, because
it depends. If I play 5 hours, then yes. But 3 hours, that's normal for me, because I normally train 3 hours a day with my coach, and he moves me like
all
like
over
a
the court.
crazy dog.
Who's your coach?
Holger Losch.
Holger Losch.
Yes.
And does he have experience training guys in wheelchairs in terms of wheelchair tennis, or is he a guy that used to coach?
Before he was a professional
normally?
tennis player.
Okay.
And then he came back and then he started to do clinics with wheelchair tennis. Then he's a CEO. He's been a CEO for like 10 years of wheelchair tennis South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, he's the first guy who started wheelchair tennis in South Africa. So he's very good. He's at the moment he left with KG Monchani, which is our lady. He's number 1 and number 6 in the world, and Evans Maripa, our number 1 guy, and he's number 15 in the world. They went to USA for 2 tournaments there. So he's away. So but when he comes back, he's gonna,
Nutrition wise, do you follow any special diets?
Because if you don't, Johnny will sell one to you. He's got some in his car. So just be careful how you answer here.
No, I don't follow anything.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Oh, yeah.
I just take off myself.
Yeah. Lots of pasta, lots of vegetables, steaks.
I'm not a fan of imported stuff. I like to eat what we have in South Africa. So pasta and all those things I normally eat when I'm outside the country.
Yes.
And backing from our authorities, you mentioned SASCOC occasionally paying for a flight to somewhere, but do you receive any financial backing from the relevant authorities?
I'm not sure, but my organization, maybe they can answer that because I'm just...
But you as a player, I mean...
For me, no.
Nothing?
No.
Not a cent?
No.
Actually, 'cause when Johnny asked you if you have a special diet, I mean, for me, it makes absolutely no sense that you're a professional athlete. You should be on various programs. You should be. Do you have any affiliation to any sports science institutes or anything like that? Nothing. See,
I'm just myself.
You see, I think that you look at all the able-bodied athletes, and the stuff that they have access to, the nutrition programs that they're on, the workout regimens that they're on. It's it's crazy, and just I think that for you not to have that kind of stuff is wrong.
I can't say much.
I know it's difficult for you to sit there and
Yeah,
criticize, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and so I would imagine that there must be sponsors who would be queuing up. I mean, Lucas is really South Africa's new sensation, really, and there must be people that are queuing up to want to sponsor you. I see you wearing a Nike cap, for example. I mean, are they a sponsor of yours?
I just bought it myself.
What?
Yeah. I don't have any sponsor except Prince for my equipment, and the pod company South Africa is sponsoring the organization.
They sponsor the organization, but no one is actually saying, listen, here's a million rand or whatever, or here's $1 million over 2 years or something like that to fund yourself and to get yourself into onto various work programs, so they make sure that you're training right, that you're eating right. There's nobody doing that for you.
No, not at the moment. Let me say like that.
Yeah, no. I think it's very sad. I think it's shocking.
No, I think the other thing that we have to look at is when you look at the disabled sport and the normal sport in South Africa, it's there's very a big gap in these two sports, But we only get known when we done something brilliant overseas, Because I tell you, here in South Africa, most people they know soccer, rugby, and cricket. Then if you come and disabled, say I play tennis, then they look at you and then they say like, no, there's no ways you can play tennis, unless then you go out, you do something good, then you come back, then that's when they're gonna start to realize.
Yeah, I just find it strange. Well, not strange, but it's wrong that when you go out and achieve something like you did last year, and put in the results that you did, and excuse me, and then you get home and everybody wants to claim you as their own, and you've got the sports minister waiting to meet you on arrival, but yet it's you've got there on your own steam and with no backing at all.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway.
Hopefully that'll all change for you.
Yeah, I just hope so.
And then we've got, SASCOC and flying themselves all over the world, booking themselves into fancy hotels to go to functions and events and all that kind of stuff, but they can't give some money to our athletes. We speak about this a lot in the station. Moving on to happier things. You've got a very busy couple of months, in training for the next couple of weeks, and then you've got 2 big tournaments here in South Africa.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be very big for me. I know most people they'll be looking up to me to give the good results in there, But I also call them to come just support the disabled sport in South Africa locally. We're playing locally. It's good to play in locally, because you don't have to worry about foods and all the stuff like that, But the weather has been challenging because we train outside. So it's been raining. So just hope it's gonna stop to allow us to train as hard as we can. Yeah.
And then you've got this one of them being the South African Open. You've got that tournament, and that's got Super Series status. What does it mean for a tournament to have that status?
It's big. For us, it's more or less like ATP Tour. That's our ATP Tour Super Series, because you get more than 2,000 points if you win it. So for me to win it, it will give me an advantage to be closer to number 1, because the only difference between number 1 and number 2 at the moment is like 100 points.
That you're behind Wagner.
I'm behind him with 100 points.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 2 good performances, especially in the SA Open.
Yeah, especially in the SA Open, that would be great for me. Then I will need to maintain it.
And then you're number 1 in the world.
Yeah.
If you do that.
Yeah, I'll be number 1.
Okay. And beyond that, Lucas, you mentioned the Olympics. Are you going? Are you thinking about going?
2016, is it?
Yeah, 26. I can't think of going. I want to go. The only thing I just need to do is just need to maintain my ranking. At the moment, I'm well qualified because I'm number 2. I just need to, to improve it or maintain it until 2016. Then I would go there, and I want to win gold.
Of course you do. And it'd be awesome. And I would back you to do it.
For sure, man. Thanks.
and briefly, last question from me. Wheelchair tennis in South Africa. We know of you because you've done so well. How many other players are there out there?
There are a lot of youngsters who are promising the way I see them doing. And they're also leaving tonight to Sri Lanka to compete there. We have 5 juniors which are in the top 5 in the world. Yeah, top 5. Because they went and play masters in early this year at France, and we have KG Monjani, which is number 1 in the world and number 6 in women's, and Evans Maripa. I think those guys, they're also coming up. They are also like hungry for a big victory.
It's amazing how you mention these names and where they're ranked, and you just don't hear of them.
Yeah, I just know them all because sometimes I practice with them. Sometimes they like to practice with me because they think I have more what they have. Which is, it's always good to have someone who you look up to.
Yeah. Well, it's been really, really cool to meet you, man. Thank you for making the effort and the time to come in here. And I don't know if you had practice on this afternoon.
And I also got a ticket.
You got a ticket? No, just give it to Johnny. He'll sort it out.
Did you get a ticket?
No ways.
Yeah, I can just imagine.
Can you drive? Can you drive yourself?
I'm driving myself.
That is brilliant.
You're driving yourself? That's awesome.
Yes, I'm driving myself.
But the car's clearly adapted.
Yes. It has a Android hand controls.
Yes.
Yeah.
What car do you drive?
I have a 325 BMW.
Oh, nice.
And I have 1.3 liter GP Cherokee.
Oh, very
nice. Right? Nice.
Very nice.
What's that, Comfort?
The green one they went by.
Yeah. The blue one.
Comfort's colorblind. It is blue, actually. He said the green one. Lucas, thanks for coming in today, man. And we wish you all the best with not only with the tournaments coming up here in South Africa, but on the world stage as well. You're doing us very proud out there. We follow you with keen interest here at Balls Visual Radio, and we wish nothing but the best for you, man.
Okay. Thank you, man.
Thank you so much, Lucas.
That's Lucas Sithole joining us this afternoon. He is our tennis superstar. He was the first African to win a quad Grand Slam. He won the 2013 US Open. He also won the British Open last year and is currently ranked, but not for much longer, number 2 in the world.
Yeah.
And he's hoping to go to the Olympics in 2016 and win gold for South Africa. Thank you for coming in again.
Thank you.
Get that and your other favorite sound clips from balls.co.za now.